different than any of you all do. I'm not special, I'm not different, nothing about me said that I would be successful in this. And I want each of you to know that wholeheartedly. I'm not different. So today, I want to genuinely talk about how to motivate others. I started thinking about, what's the number one question I get, not just from my team, but from countless messages from other coaches in the network. What's the number one thing people ask me all the time? And the number one thing people say is, how do I motivate my team to work as much as I do? Because there's a funny thing about this business. You will not be successful without helping other people to be successful. And that is the most infuriating, frustrating, difficult part of this business. Who in this room has felt like you just simply cannot motivate other people to work as hard as you want to work? In fitness, in business, in whatever. It's difficult. It's difficult to make people see the potential in themselves that you see in them, yeah? Yep. But that's what this business is all about, right? So you're like, shit. I gotta do the most difficult thing and over and over and over and over, and that starts to weigh on you. So what I start to see happen is people lead their businesses like this, right? You're pulling people. You're saying, come on, what do I do more to motivate you? What other training can I create? What more can I say? How can I be a better leader? And then it starts to cloud your brain, and then all of a sudden you're not doing any of the activities that make you become successful. And I want to talk about how to lead your business from the front. There's a great, great, great quote. And it says, a leader is somebody who simply runs fast enough so that they are ahead of their team. A leader is somebody who simply runs fast enough so that they are ahead of their team. Not the leader is the person who knows it all, or the leader is the person who knows all the answers about fitness. And this can apply to the coach who signed up 7 days ago, or the coach who's been a coach for 3 years and is a 2-time elite. I heard there was one in here. Congratulations. But this is really, it's a broad topic, but it's also so specific to whatever you're struggling with. Whether you struggle with finding challengers or you struggle with finding coaches, I'm going to talk about that. Oh, no. Did I do it? Yeah. St. Joe's. Cost me enough. So I love when I'm listening to a presentation, and we have been sitting for a while, so I notice everybody getting a little antsy. It's going to get good, trust me. Where are we going? What am I specifically going to talk about? What does being a good coach mean? And it's confusing to get into this company and see all this stuff on social media and see all these ranks and 15-star and double, triple star diamond and whatever it is. To me, being a coach is simply willing to show up every single day, just like we've heard every person on this stage say, right? So I'm going to talk about how do you translate that legitimately onto your social media, because I want you to walk away with some really, really tangible stuff. And then I'm going to talk about how do I motivate other people to purchase a challenge pack, right? Because all we're really doing is offering an opportunity to people. We can't go to their houses and make them work out. We can't go to their houses and make them do their Beachbody work every day. All we can do is be the one who shows up and offer it over and over and over and over again until we're blue in the face. And then, how do I attract people that want to do the business too? Because we can't do it alone, right? The definition of success is helping other people succeed. So how do you do that without A, burning yourself out, B, getting super frustrated, and C, actually making a change in people, right? And then how do you set yourself apart? There's however many people in this room, and we all do the same thing with the same products, day in and day out with the same social media outlets. There is no trick. There is no secret. I get that question a lot too. What's your secret? Hard work. But how do we set ourselves apart from the person sitting next to you, right? We're all doing insanity. We're all doing quarter force. We all have the same lunches, but yet there seems to be a group of people in this business that just skyrocket, right? Because, and I'm going to tell you why in a minute, but I wanted to share a really personal story with you guys since I am back home, and a lot of people don't know this story about me. And this story involves Children's Hospital in Philadelphia, my butt, and a 4.5-inch long splinter. Intrigued? So this is me. I grew up in Philly. This is where the Bonnie face started. I was a really rambunctious kid. Loved life, loved activities, loved playing outside. My grandparents owned a house on Leamington Avenue. We had an acre-wide backyard, which is very rare for Philadelphia. And I grew up in that backyard, playing every single day. My mom and I lived with my grandparents. My mom was a single mom, and she worked 60 hours a week, tirelessly. So when my mom and I got time to spend together, I was really, really excited. So one day, I was about 13 years old, and my mom took me to a baseball game. And we went to a baseball game, and next to the baseball field, there was a playground. And I was like, Mom, come on, let's go play. And my mom was there to see a friend. She was chatting, so I went over to play on the playground by myself for a little while. And my mom came over and joined me after a few minutes. And we both got on a seesaw, on either side of a seesaw. We were going up and down, having so much fun. I was getting a little rambunctious because as an only child whose parent works 60 hours a week, you're super excited when your mom gets to spend time with you, right? And I went up on the seesaw as she sat down, and my arms were pressed out forward. And as soon as I went up, my entire body slid full force into the handle. And at that moment, a 4.5-inch long splinter lodged itself in my butt cheek. This splinter changed the entire course of my life. I'm serious. So being a young girl and being excited, I didn't tell my mom. I just said, oh my gosh, something hurt. A couple months went by. Something was still hurting. And then I started to get sick. Sick in a lot of ways that no one could explain. I would break out in full body hives. I spent countless nights in the ER at Children's Hospital. And doctors just started medicating me with different antibiotic after different antibiotic. And then my body slowly started to shut down, organ after organ, system after system. And I had been in Children's Hospital for about, 3 months, 3.5 months. And if anybody is in the medical field or has been around someone sick or a sick child, that's the point where things get really bad. The doctors could not figure out what was wrong, and all of the life was draining out of me. And at that point, we had been moved to a special floor where children are being cared for that most likely won't make it out of the hospital. And up until that point, I had been such a fun, caring, happy-go-lucky child. I loved to be outside. I loved to do cheerleading and all of the school activities. I just loved it. But then depression set in. And I remember a day when the priest from IHM, where I went to grade school, came to Children's Hospital and gave me a final blessing. And the doctor said to my mom, you need to learn to be okay with the fact that Bonnie's not going to be alive. She's going to pass away. And that next day, we got moved to a room with a girl named Sarah. And Sarah changed my life. Sarah was waiting for a liver transplant, and we were both in a wing in a floor in Children's Hospital. I don't know if anybody works there, where they're basically end-of-life care or until they get a transplant. And Sarah was the happiest girl, and I was just miserable. I had resigned myself to the fact that I was going to die. I did not want to live. I weighed about 41 pounds at 13 years old. I could not go outside. I didn't want to look out a window. I didn't want anything to do with any kind of life I had before. People would come see me. I would cry. I would lock myself in the bathroom. I just was not myself. And I got into this room, and Sarah was going to die as well. Only Sarah loved life, and she was holding on to life with every piece of her, and I hated her for that. We got in that room, and I said, Mom, you better move me to a different room because this girl is just too happy. And at this point, when you're like that in the hospital, they send therapists and people to come talk to you to be happier and change your mood, because as we all know in this room, your attitude has a lot to do with how you live your life. And it can have a lot to do with how sick people recover, right? And there have been miracles of sick people recovering because of their attitude. So I got into this room, and the first day, Sarah said, "Do you want to come to the playroom with me? The therapist says it's going to be so great." And I said, "No, please go away." And then she came back from the playroom and told me all about it, all about the new game she got to play. And I cried and cried that night to my mom and said, "I really want them to move me. I don't want to be here." And then something really magical started happening. Every single day at the same time, Sarah would come skipping over to where I was laying and say, "Are we going to go to the playroom today? I'm going. We're playing this game. It's going to be so much fun." And every day for like 2 weeks, I said no. And then something really weird started happening. She would come back and tell me all about the new friends she made, all about the games they had, all about the fun things they talked about. And then I started to get jealous. I started to, when she didn't come back right away, wonder where she was. Is she coming back? How was the playroom? Did they find out who won that game today? Because I'm really waiting for it. I started to get jealous that she was happy. And I started to ask my mom what we could do to let me live again. I started to want to live again. Not because Sarah knew all the answers, or she was a doctor and she had everything that I needed to get better, or she gave me, all of the answers that I needed. She didn't have the same thing I did. She didn't even have the same outlook that I did. But she, every single day, through infusions and treatments and awful procedures, said, "Do you want to go to the playroom? I'm going. No matter if you come or not, I'm going." And I watched every time when she came back how happy she was and how much it changed her demeanor. And then, after much research, and because of my attitude, a miracle happened. My mom found out what was wrong with me. It's something called serum sickness, and it's a full body infection caused actually from antibiotic overload. And they found a cure. And I got better, and I'm standing here right now. And I spent a lot of my life wondering, why? Why did I survive that? So a week later, I went back, and Sarah and I always had this joke. Do you guys remember the Game of Life? It's a board game. And it was always in the playroom, but you had to check it out to play it. And it was never available when her and I could play it. And I said, when I left, I'm gonna go buy us the Game of Life, and I'm gonna come back next week. I never get emotional when I speak, ever. I'm sorry. And Sarah had passed away. And I had a really hard time my entire life trying to figure out, why did Sarah die and I didn't? And this is going to sound so cliche, but she changed my life in so many ways, and she motivated me more than anyone I've ever met, and she still does. And when it was 2 years into coaching, and I had somebody who I admittedly signed up for my team and I hadn't talked to in a couple weeks since she signed up because I got too busy, and she said, "You motivated me more than anybody else simply because you show up every single day on your social media." And I thought about Sarah, and I thought, what a gift she gave me. That's why I'm a coach. That's why I show up every single day, because she showed up every single day regardless of what it meant to me. She didn't know my answers. She didn't have to do anything. It didn't make her better. But that's why I'm a coach. And that's what she gave to me, and that's what we are. We motivate other people simply by being the example, and it's not harder than that. But why do I tell you that? Why tell you that story that has nothing to do with Beachbody coaching? Because most of the time, this is what I see people get stopped on in this business. The majority of people think what motivates others is knowing all the answers, having the perfect message to send, having the perfect post to post on social media, looking the best in all of your selfies. having a huge success to stand behind, having a title next to your name. I see that stopping more people than anything. Well, I can't talk to the people you talk to. I'm not successful. Did Sarah have answers for me? Was she the #1 patient at Children's Hospital? Was she #2 in the network of CHOP? No. She showed up every day. I watched her change. I watched her not give up. I watched her face hard things. I was in the same room as her. She had terrible procedures done. And every single day, she still said, "Do you want to go to the playroom today?" And that motivated me beyond anything else. What actually motivates people as a coach is being the one who answers honestly. If you're a new coach and you're like, "I don't even know what insanity is, I have no idea what this girl's talking about right now," be honest. When I was a new coach, I would answer people and say, "You know what? I'm brand new, I don't have all the answers, but I do have an upline, and she has the answers, so let's come along on this journey." What motivates people is being vulnerable. Actually sharing who you legitimately are on social media. I want you to think about your social media for a second. Are you sharing what everybody else in this room is sharing? Or are you sharing why? Are you sharing why you drove in a blizzard to be in this room?
You're fine.
Or are you just sharing, "Oh my God, I'm in the room and it's a blizzard"? Totally different, right? Did Sarah come over to my bed and say, "You know, the doctor really says that it would be good if you came to the playroom tonight and played for 15 minutes because it really elevates your cortisol levels"? No! She would come back skipping in, happy-go-lucky. "This is what I feel like today because I went there. And here are the tools for you to do it, and we can do it together." So now you're wondering, okay, enough with the mushy stuff. Let's get down to business. How do I take and bottle up what I just told you about motivating others, right? That should really give you relief. You should sigh right now because you don't have to know or be anything to motivate others. All you have to do is show up every single day and be the change that other people wish to be seeing. But how do you take that message and go home in front of your computer and translate it? It's hard. And I still struggle with it every single day. But I want to talk about something that I learned that really changed things for me this past year. And it's from a TED Talk, so if you guys have heard this before, listen again. But Simon Sinek talks about how traditional companies market themselves. And I talked about this a little bit earlier. But if you are signed up as a Team Beachbody coach and you're sitting in this room, you're a business owner, right? Even if you're not making $1, you own a business with the capability to be a huge corporation, right? Treat it that way. So I like to branch out and listen to personal development that other big corporations are listening to, and they talk about marketing from the why to the what. And let me give you an example with some companies that we all pretty much know. So if you think about traditional marketing, let's take what's the other one? Not Apple, but Microsoft. Let's take Microsoft for example. See, I couldn't even remember his name. They market from the what to the why, right? Oh my gosh, we have created this incredible new machine that processes photos at a 9.7 megabyte pixel corporator, whatever they call it, because we want you to have good pictures of your family. Did you see that? From the what to the why. Now, a company like Apple, every single person probably has something Apple, even my husband, who doesn't like Apple. He's the only person in America. But you all know who they are, and you know how they market, because they market from the heart, from the why to the how. Their message goes like this: we believe in family. We believe in what you do at home matters, and who you spend your time with matters. So we've created this incredible machine that does this for you. From the inside out. From the why to the what. So how does that apply to Beachbody coaching? The majority of people in Beachbody, and this isn't bad, market from the what to the why, just like Microsoft, right? That's how we don't set ourselves apart. We say, oh my gosh, new All Access Pass launching, $199, Shakeology, it's awesome, gotta get it because it helps you work out, right? From the what we have to the why we have it. A good coach, a coach who is setting themselves apart, markets from the why to the what. Why is the All Access Pass worth more than a traditional challenge pack? Why did Sarah like going to the playroom? Wasn't where she was going, wasn't what she was doing it with. Why did it help Sarah? So instead of saying, we have this new All Access Pass on demand, it's great, any device, I would say something like, you know, all through my life, I had a really hard time choosing what workout I wanted to use. And that really stopped me from getting results because I would spend too much time thinking about which one to do, where to do it, how to get there. But then I found out that Beachbody has this all-access on-demand pass, which really answers all of my questions and lets me do them all in the comfort of my own home. That has changed my results forever. Still giving the information, still telling people how, still telling people what, but I started with why. That will draw people to you. That is how you set yourself apart on social media in a world where it is noisy, y'all. It is really noisy. You have to lead with why, not how. So that's all well and good, right? We all know what to post about. We all have the same things. But I want to ask you something. It is really, really easy to lead with the why for a couple posts or a couple days or a couple weeks, and then all of a sudden life happens, right? We get busy, we have children, we move across country, a dog dies, whatever happens, and things get stale, right? It gets hard to figure out what to post. You're still doing the same program, the same workouts. Life gets mundane. If you do not have a mission statement, how many people in this room, because you're all business owners, right, and you're treating it like a corporation, how many people in this room have sat down without Beachbody's mission statement, right, not how to help people live healthy, fulfilling lives, and really given yourself and your business a mission statement? How many people? A few. So if you have not done this, this is your first task to start setting yourself apart and really motivating others, right? This is my mission statement. Help others see their own capabilities the way I see them by my own actions. Give them the opportunity to change their situation, achieve their goals through health, business, and fitness. Did you see how it always says there? Through my actions, right? This is not a mission statement that you should use. Reach diamond in 60 days, quit my full-time job, and help people. That will motivate you for 2 weeks, right? You have to lead from the inside out. You have to change yourself first, and then keep that mission statement in your mind every time you post, every time you work out, every time you get demotivated, all of that kind of stuff. Okay, so a lot of times I get the question, well, what do you do in your day? What does a 15-star diamond concentrate on? And I always give this answer. I am constantly 100% in phase 1 all the time in my business. And what I mean by phase 1 is I'm doing the activities that I did as a brand new coach every single day, 70% of my day, even with however many diamonds Jeff said there are. That's because if I'm not doing my activities, that means they're not doing theirs. And the same goes for your challengers and your coaches. You will never, ever, ever in this business attract somebody who wants to work harder than you at fitness or business. So if you want challengers who want to crush their fitness, just like my coach Emily said in that video, and lose 100 pounds, 20 pounds, 50 pounds, whatever it is, you have to be the one doing the activities that they want to be doing. You have to be the one who you make them jealous because you're continuing to show up, just like I was with Sarah, right? So here's some things we know about social media. If you have not committed to a program publicly and posted about it and and then actually committed, that's where you're doing yourself a big disservice. People are watching you. If you're thinking to yourself right now, wow, she's hit Success Club the whole time, and you have trouble hitting Success Club, this is a huge indicator why. If you are not showcasing publicly that you're committing to something and never, ever, ever giving up and never, ever stopping, then people doubt you. People are waiting for you to not come back. Post at least once per day reminding your market that you're not giving up, but giving specific reasons why, not just I'm working out, day 2, sweaty selfies, so excited, core de force, rah, rah. No. Why was it hard for you today to get your workout in? What obstacles did you overcome? Coaches are simply people who go first and show other people that it's okay. It's okay to have a bad day, but you can still get it in because you're doing it too, right? Some things to think about. Participate in your own challenge group. If you're like, oh my gosh, I always run challenge groups and they're so dead and nobody comments and it's really hard, who feels like that sometimes? Raise your hands. That's because you're not participating. And listen guys, I am guilty of all of this stuff. I never say anything that I have not done wrong and figured it out. If you're not participating, if you're just copy and pasting, if you're just phoning it in and they don't see you showing up every day and participating in your own assignments, right? Going live in your challenge groups, doing your own workouts, if they don't see that, then that's when they fall out. They will follow suit. And then run a sneak peek into what it's like. So one thing that Sarah always did, she would come back and tell me in nauseating detail about the games that they played. And I was annoyed and didn't want to hear it, but it was a sneak peek into what I could get. So we all hear about sneak peeks into coaching. Maybe some of you were in one, maybe that's how you got introduced to it. Run one about a challenge group. Let's talk about coaches, right? Because we all want to attract and develop thriving teams, because that's eventually how we become successful, how we earn paychecks. Beachbody does not guarantee any level of success or income. Things we know. Let people know you're a coach. The funniest thing, when some of my new coaches come to me and they say, I can't get anybody to sign up, and then I go to their social media and it has nothing to do with coaching. I wonder why. People are not mind readers. You have to be the same person that you are in public. You get what you post for. Your social media is your storefront, and I know that phrase kind of loses its luster after a while, right? Because we hear it so much. You have a free 99 storefront. Use it. Post for what you want. If you're sitting here wanting to build a team or a stronger team or any team, you have to post about wanting to do that, or else you will never attract it. At least once a day. Invite them publicly, privately, on social media, in public, whatever. Invite. Be the one who never stops inviting. This is another question I always get. How many times do you follow up with people? What do you say in these messages? I never, ever, ever stop following up with people. There is not one person that I've said, never mind. Or if somebody says no, or if they say not right now, they simply go on the next list for the next month and I follow up with them again. Right? Be the one, be the example, the one who never stops showing up. Some things to think about. Start your own team page if you have not yet. Set yourself apart from the team that you're on. Doesn't mean you're separating, but it means that your people who you're bringing in, challengers and coaches, are starting to see you as the leader. Even if you don't know anything at all, you're simply setting yourself apart by saying, I'm going to find you the answer even if I don't know it. Start your own team calls even if no one comes. I remember holding a team call for 2 people, and then the following week, no one could come, and I still recorded a Zoom call by myself just so I could practice for when I did have an audience. That will set you apart from the leader sitting next to you. Do the behavior you want done. This is the craziest thing. This is what sets people apart. Successful, not successful. If you are doing the activities you want other people to do, and be honest with yourself. This is the hardest part of the business, to be honest with yourself. Really sit down when you leave here and think about, am I doing the activities that I think my coaches should be doing? If my coaches just did what I did for an hour, would they be successful? And oftentimes for myself, the answer is no. Okay, here's your checklist. This is your to-do from leaving this room. This is phase 1 checklist. This is the only thing that matters and the only thing that you should be concentrating on. Have I focused 70% of my time on inviting and being the example for other people? After I told you that story today about Sarah, she changed my entire life. Did she spend time making maps for me to the playroom or drawing out the different games that they had? No! She told me, this is where you find it, and this is what it gives me, and this is what it could give you. And that's what you do for your team. Now that percentage might be different for you because you're at a different part of your business. If you're brand new or you don't have many coaches yet, then you're at 90% for that, right? And that changes as your goals change and as you move forward. But as a general rule, over 0.5% of the time you should be focused on phase 1. Have I shared on social media 3 to 5 times? This is the part that nobody likes to hear because we hear it so much, right? And it gets said over and over again, and sometimes old sayings lose their luster, but you have to be the one who continues to show up, and I gave this example at Summit. If you guys went to a stand every morning and you bought the Same People magazine, and you went down one day and it wasn't there, and then you went down a second day and it wasn't there, but there was an Us Weekly sitting right next to it, wouldn't you pick up the Us Weekly because it has the same stuff just said in a different way? That's how it is with coaching. If you're not there at your stand every single day, 3 to 5 times, for people to see that you're showing up, just like Sarah. When she didn't come back from the playroom, I was worried. Where is she? You don't post a selfie for 3 hours. People are worried. Where is she? Is she going to selfie? Have you combated objections today? Have you, maybe after this Super Saturday, maybe some people are watching you thinking, I could never go to an event like that, I could never be on a stage like that, I could never put myself out there and work out like that. Combat that objection. Write a list of all the things that people have said they couldn't do and make a post about that. Say, ordinarily, I would never get up on stage and share that story about myself. That was hard for me. But guess what? Maybe, just maybe, it helped 1 or 2 people see that the magic is in them. That there is no secret to being a leader, being successful in this business. The magic is in you. Be a Sarah. Do you guys know who Will Smith is? He went to my high school. He does this interview that I love, and he's so successful, and he's from such a small town. He's from Philly. And he talks a lot about, it's not who he knew, it was all the hard work he did. And an interviewer said, what do you think sets you apart from the millions of other actors in LA that had fancy agents and all this training, never had a day of training? If you guys don't know the story, the reason Will Smith was Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was because he stood outside of Arsenio Hall every single day for months and months and months, networking, talking to people, and he actually met the real Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and they together formed the TV show. That's the only reason why he got that part, not because he had a special agent, not because he knew everybody in Hollywood or whatever. And in this interview, the guy says, what do you think sets you apart? Like, you're pretty much one of the top actors. And he said, you know what? It's really simple. You could know more than me, you could have more training than me, you could be, let's take running for example, the best runner in town, a marathon winner, Olympics, whatever. But if we get on a treadmill together and it's a race, I will die before I get off the treadmill. You're not winning because I will die before I get off this treadmill. And I just love that message. It is what I try to live my business by. I hope that when this presentation is over, you guys take from my personal story of why I'm a coach, from this story, from all of the stuff that I've given you, those little nuggets, and think to yourself, holy S-H-I-T. Holy shit! There is nothing to this business but me showing up every single day with the things that I was given from Team Beachbody and showing other people that it's possible. Will you all die on the treadmill with me? Nobody has to not giving up. If you don't give up, you will attract the people that are just like you. Be a Sarah. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for